Hi, Sandy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the A.D.K Rock and Metal channel. Okay, so for today's video, we're going to be checking out a band called Godless Symptoms. Enough said, really, about that. Have you either of you heard of a band called Godless Symptoms?
No.
Is it a good name, Andy? Godless.
It doesn't tell you what, to be honest. Godless, godless obviously brings up connotations of something quite negative and dark and sinister. But then symptoms is almost throwaway, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
there's no such phrase as someone's suffering from godless symptoms. You know, somebody who's not a follower of God. I don't know, but no. The name doesn't grab me. Oh yes, I'm looking forward to this. You know,
words spliced together.
Hopefully I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Well, let's go check it out. Now, we will be cutting the video up due to copyright issues, so if you are just wanting to watch the whole video, please go and check out the original video. If you want to know what we think about the video, please stick around. Let's go check it out. Okay, there we go. Godless Symptoms. I'm not pronouncing how to pronounce that song name. I have no idea. So I'm gonna. You've seen it in the title, so there you go. I'm not even gonna attempt that one. Andy, I'm gonna throw it to you.
Before you rolled the video, we were talking off camera. I asked Kirk to take a stab at the genre after we saw the logo on the drum, and I went for old school thrash, but Kirk will say what he said, and I think he was more accurate. But yeah, that was really good. I mean, it's not going to set the world alight. It's not groundbreaking, but it's just good old fashioned, simple death metal. The main verse riff was very memorable, and again, simple is the term I'm going to use throughout this review. I think vocals vary too much, but suited the riff, suited the song. The first solo was extremely, again, it suited it, and then they had that sort of slower, dirty breakdown riff, which was great. Second solo was a little bit more technical, but overall, just a well put together video as well. They've obviously got a couple of mates to record it on their phones and piece it together in the recording studio or the rehearsal studio. But yeah, I've enjoyed that. I'd watch that again. I'd check them out. Catchy song, but there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Okay. Kurt, what did you reckon?
Close your eyes and you think that was Max Cavalera on vocals, and that's a good thing. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Like you, Andy, it's not groundbreaking, but it was an interesting mix of death metal and metallic hardcore, especially the hardcore elements. I mean, Close Your Eyes, again, that could be Hatebreed, just with an injection of Floridian death metal. If you do like this, that band that Max Cavalera's in with his son Igor, Go Ahead and Die, their second album came out last week, and this is very similar. It's like crusty death metal, isn't it? Vocal performance was excellent. I think when you're in that kind of studio, and it sounds like they were recording that as a live session, you do concentrate a lot more. You're not going to be throwing shapes, are you, or spinning your head. You want to make sure that you're nailing every note, and you could see that in the concentration on his face when he was doing that guitar solo, which was short but very technical. There was some really impressive fret stretches going on there. Of course, we don't really know what the song's about. What language was he singing in? Was he singing that in the Indonesian language? Yeah, okay. That doesn't put you off though, does it? Because often it's the primal musical elements that really pull through into music like that. That's what gets the adrenaline going. That's what gets the pulses going. But I could easily listen to a whole album of that. I get the impression this band would be quite diverse as well. And even if it was just 10 songs of death metal with a metallic hardcore angle, that's fine by me. I find that a lot more interesting than most other forms of death metal, certainly.
Okay. So for me to wrap it up, very accessible track, really easy to get into. As you said, the simplistic riffs, and we're not saying, when we're saying simple or simplistic, we're not being it in a negative tone. We're saying it's just keeping it stripped back, it's raw, it's not over thought, and it means that instantly you're getting access to it. First solo was awful. I was like, oh come on, you can at least do something better than that. Fuck's sake, don't do a solo.
Maybe not. I'll be happy with that, Dave.
I know you were. Second solo was okay, I guess. Again,
it's next level compared to the first, though, isn't it?
It was better than the first, anyway. Yeah. I understand what you were saying, Kirk, about it's recorded live, but in my opinion, you record it and then you go back and do miming over the video if you want to, and give me something more to look. Apart from the vocalist and occasionally the bass player, none of them looked like they wanted to be there. They all looked really bored. The guitarist looked bored as shit playing. And I'm like, guys, come on! You're meant to be giving us a bit of attitude or something while you're playing.
I think Kurt was right. He's concentrating. He wants to make sure he nails it this take, I think. But yeah, you're right.
Just record it and then then film it afterwards with playback, and then you'll get a good performance. Drummers, it's a lot harder for the drummer. We know that the drummers needs to get that live video, but then the cameras were straight on the drummer anyway, so he could have filmed his and then just got the other guys. Just a little bit from a video perspective. Angles were great. Apart from the vocalist, I think the guitarist could have been shot separately as a bit of a mime, giving them a chance to rock out a bit. But I really enjoyed the track. The language barrier didn't affect me in the slightest, because I'm not really looking at what they're singing about. I'm just vibing on the track.
Yeah.
Then a couple of nice little kind of slow breakdown bits, as you said, like the hardcore Hatebreed sort of style, which I liked. Vocally, it was interesting you picked up Max, because I think these guys sound better than Max does. I think Max's vocals have gone to shit in recent years. And we're comparing him back to when he was doing like the Sepultura things. His vocals were so much stronger, and over the years with Soulfly and stuff, he's just got a little bit more raspier and doesn't sound as well conditioned. I'm talking about more live than on album. I would have actually compared him more to Kirk from Crowbar and Johnny Santos from Silent Civilian, which we did the song Last Man Standing. Was very similar to that. So they're the two that I would kind of put down as vocal performances, and they're both very, very good vocalists. So I love the attitude, and could definitely listen to an album of Godless Symptoms from Indonesia.
I think because it's not overproduced, it's enjoyable, isn't it? I'll give you an example. I reviewed that latest album from Carnifex, that American deathcore band. It has all the ingredients you want, but there's just no life in it. It's overproduced. Everything. It's just plastic double kick drums, multi-layered screams, chugging guitar. So I should like this, but it's just boring. Whereas there's life, there's edge to it. If you didn't have that video of them concentrating on their instruments, and you just listen to that on an audio perspective, like, yeah, this has got edge to it.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of death metal now is just unlistenable, to the point where I don't even know if I can say I'm a fan of modern death metal. It's almost putting me off the genre, the shit that comes out today. Whereas that gives me hope that it's like, yeah, I can get behind this.
There is that risk of production and pushing it too far. But in my set, the opposite way is when they do the black metal route and they go so underproduced that you're like, oh god, this sounds awful. You're playing in some wine cellar somewhere with like massive amounts of reverb and tinny sounds, and you've got to get that balance right. And I feel these guys have got a really nice warm sound. It sounds raw. It sounds heavy though. It doesn't sound too tinny. It doesn't sound too clicky on the kick. It sounds really good.
Going back to the band name, I think before the video started we were discussing it and you asked me what I thought of it. Do you think there's a little bit of language barrier there? Because I think now we know that they're sort of raw death metal, do you think they're after something more like the word emotions? Because Godless Symptoms, it tells me that, or the godless part means they're sort of anti-religious and sort of, sort of dark and heavy and that, but symptoms doesn't really match it. Were they looking for the word similar to emotion, godless emotions, godless? Did you see what I think I know what they're trying to achieve. I think they've picked the wrong word in English in the translator to accompany the word godless.
Yeah, if there was a moral panic, you'd have the term symptoms of a godless society, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's how you would word it in English. You're right, it doesn't really make sense when the possessor of the symptoms is godless. It just doesn't really.
It depends. I mean, it really depends on what their songs are about. It will determine what they meant by those. Because if a lot of their songs are more about political, Big Brother type things and how society changes people, then they are the godless symptoms, or we are the symptoms of the godlessness. But if it's about people and darkness and evil and all that lot, then it's about the symptoms of the person. So it could be the emotions, or it could be. I think they might have been trying to be clever. And again, as you said, when you do the Google Translate and stuff and try and put words together, they don't always mean exactly what you mean when you throw it in there. So if you do translate from Indonesian to English, sometimes you're like, ooh, that's not what I meant. That's not what I'm saying there. So yeah, you could be quite right on that one. But there we go. Got the symptoms now. If you like this video, please do like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.